Ever diagnosed with any type of like mental illness or any type of diagnosis, any type of learning disability, anything like that?
I have a crazy problem.
I think you are very open-minded about a lot. I think you haven't had an opportunity to experience a conservative relationship. Hold on. And if and when you do, come back and talk to me. Yeah.
What you don't realize is that you don't listen, man.
I don't have to. You're not my daddy.
Listen at me and listen at me clearly. If you don't want me coming for you, then just stop fucking coming for me, okay?
All right. That'll do it. What's up, Palace? Happy Tuesday night. I listen, my days have been nonstop. I don't know whether it's Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, whatever it is, but all I know is we are here and over 200 of you have shown up for me. And for me, that is like baseline. I'm building back from scratch and I'm all right with it, baby. I'm all right with it. And let me tell you why, because one thing about the way this thing works, thank you, Janice Walker. Thank you, Mama V. Thank you, Aquarius 1982. Thank you all for letting me know that you can hear me. I ain't never afraid to start all over. Sometimes you got to prioritize some things over another. And listen, if you were good, baby, the money will be there. I'll be getting to the money. Like he said, everybody mad. I'm just talking my shit because that's what I do. It wouldn't be me. And sometimes you got to find a way to push through and get back in there. And that's what we doing tonight, y'all. We talking about the bad girls of Bad Boy Entertainment. But I just had to come through and just pop off a little bit. I am so glad to be back. I don't know if I'm back full time. I don't know if I'm back half time. I just know I'm here tonight. And I had a hell of a class tonight, y'all. I just wrapped up my second cohort of my YouTube brand acceleration class. And listen, it was good. It was good. And I said, why not trickle on over to YouTube? So thank you all for hanging in there with me. That's why I pushed it back. And thank you all. Thank you all. So we're gonna get down to business, baby, because we got to talk about all things P. Diddy. And I was gearing up to talk about P. Diddy. And my life just completely changed before my eyes. And I had to put all content on hold. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't tuned in and tapped in. I just had to prioritize how I delegated or dished out my energy and my attention. But I did not want to leave y'all hanging. And I want to talk about P. Diddy tonight. Did he have help, in your opinion? Did he have help? Y'all, this is a tough topic because you have people in the industry that are extremely quiet. You have the likes of Ray J coming out and said, I've never seen anything. I mean, I heard that it goes on, but I've never witnessed it. The lies you tell, my nigga, the lies you tell. Come on now. Everybody knew what happened after a particular time at those P. Diddy parties. And we've been so focused on the men that we forgot about the diabolical bitches, the females that help out, the females that lure your daughters in, that lure your nieces into these parties. Girl, come on over here. The females that will pop a roofie in there and help these girls become or get violated. Some of these girls are behind the camera. Now, if I was going to go really, really deep, and I said, not tonight. But we're going to get deep into it. I am following it. There is so much content that I've gathered. I want to make something very, very clear. No one outside of the U.S. government has filed or brought a criminal charge against Puff Daddy. I want to make that very clear. Everybody that's looking for a solution or retribution is filing or has filed civil suits. That means they're wanting to get paid. Does that mean they're not a victim? Nope, that's not what I'm saying. So what I am saying is they're having a hard time proving that these people did not consent And when you have a hard time proving that, it's because he had help, y'all. He had help. Now, the men may have done the damage, but let's talk about the witches with a W, these diabolical, demonic witches. Not everybody, because you're a woman, and not everybody, because you have a vagina, is a victim. Let's say this. And I think we've gotten caught up in the sensitivity to protect Black women to be equivalent to she didn't do nothing. She's a victim. He made her do it. No, 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 no. There's a whole demographic out there of demonic female witches, demonic, dark, decrepit spirits that will lure their own bloodline in exchange for money, wealth, and fame. And I want to talk about it by the likes of Miami, Little Miami, Lori Ann Gibson, and this one on the right, Daphne Joy, 50 Cent's baby mama. Now, 50 Cent's, he's become a little dark to me by the way he pokes at people. And I remember initially when Daphne Joy's, this is the lady on the right here on the screen, Daphne Joy, her name came up after Cassie's lawsuit. And she came out to say, you need to watch what you say. There's innocent people involved here and somebody could get hurt. And at that point, I thought 50 is just trolling. He's just being an asshole. He's just talking out the side of his mouth, yada this, yada that. That's what he does. Lo and behold, in this United States District Court, Southern District of New York, this sealed indictment versus Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. P.D., a.k.a. Love Defendant. Girl, Daphne, girl. What the hell? What the hell were you doing? And who were you doing it with in these hotels? Because your name has come up. They have subpoenaed videotapes of you in the hotels, room service, credit card receipts. So a lot of these women, let's get it straight. I know it's a hard pill to swallow because we have been conditioned that in most cases, because we have a vagina, that she's innocent. That's not the case in a lot of these cases, y'all. A lot of these women are not innocent, and some of your most beloveds are about to come up next on the docket. And I ain't going to say no names for fear of upsetting people before you go to sleep tonight, because I don't want to do that. But one of them just may be Jay-Z's wife, and I'll cover that a little bit later. I'll cover that a little bit later. One of them just may be Jennifer Lopez. I'll cover that a little bit later. One of them may be old philanthropist Oprah Winfrey, but I'll cover that a little bit later because that is something that you have to be warmed up to, that women too can be dark, decrepit, and women can also be predators. My question to you again is, do you feel like this? Well, we know he had help. Do you feel like the women were just as hands-on as the men who committed the acts by way of sexual assault? The women, Young Miami, you're documented as threatening one of his exes that you will make her get on her knees and perform oral sex on you because your exact words was, bitch, you are an eater. Don't play with me. That's what you told her. I'll have Puff make you, and I have that. That's documented. So is she a victim? At one point, and that's another thing. They're not disputing consent. Okay? That's a whole other thing. I believe there's a lot of instances where he did not have consent. I also believe that you cannot receive consent from somebody that you have tricked, and that's under the influence. If you put something in my drink, let's be very clear, you do not have my consent. But there are some of these women that knew exactly what time it was, what type of drugs would be there, what they were engaging in, and they had no problem tricking the likes of younger women into being exploited, preyed upon, and or abused sexually, physically, and emotionally. Lori Ann Gibson, ain't no way you can tell me you worked with this man for over 20 something years and you did not know. Even if you turned a blind eye, that is still being complicit. Is it complicit? And let me know if I'm using it right. You're still helping because you help recruit talent. We're going to get into it. Let me start. I'm not going to be here too long. I just want to come up and warm up a little bit and do my reintroduction back into YouTube. Thank you, Renee. Renee says, arrest her ass too. Listen, between her and that publicist, boom, boom, cat. Yeah, she's been real quiet. You cannot be not deceived. Evil company corrupts good moral. You cannot be around that long and be a saint within a sinner's palace. You cannot be around that long and be a Mother Teresa in a sinner's palace. Ain't no way. And let me tell you what I feel like Puffy has done. There were the haves and there were the have-nots. Let me break it down because I like to come from a different angle. What you talking about, Queen Sheba? Let me tell you something. There were the haves and the have-nots. I believe it was almost like the Hunger Games. I think he tried them all. I think he's probably done a little something with Lorianne at one point and just decided that ain't his flavor. Okay. Because it's giving something else with Lorianne. But I think when he found out that he can utilize you in a way to satisfy his appetite, I think he's a sociopath. I think he's a sadist. But there are some people that he find very useful. P. Diddy is an evil genius. He not only recorded you, what is it called? For blackmail, to show you what you've done. See, I let me tell you something that I don't believe the government is showing right now. I think they're holding this one very close to, this is just my opinion, y'all. This is why I like to come over here and talk to y'all in the palace. I wouldn't be surprised with the people that are being quiet, both men and women. Oh, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't synced nothing. I left at midnight. All of a sudden, we got responsible ass adults that go home before midnight. Listen, all of a sudden, we got responsible ass adults that, oh, I go home at midnight, nigga. Stop playing with me. Puffy got something on y'all. Mr. I ain't never seen that. Miss I ain't never seen that. Let me tell you what I really think. I think there's more than meets the eye when it comes to those tapes. And let me tell you where they are taking your brain to. Let me tell you where they're taking your brain to. They want you to believe that everybody on tape is an adult. I don't believe it. Where am I going with this? I would not be shocked. Trigger warning. I would not be shocked if it comes out that some of these adults have violated children on tape. Men and women. Let's talk about it. That's why they can't talk. That's why he got them in a position that he got them in. You helped me bring this 15-year-old, this 14-year-old in. And yes, you did it to him. And I got you on tape. Thank you to Latrice, Justin Bieber, and Usher. Let's start with Usher. Because Usher, let's start. I'm not saying Usher's not guilty. But I keep telling y'all every time I cover something, a child that's abused, if he does not, and if she does not receive intensive psychological therapy, he or she will indeed become a what? I say it all the time. When I talk about these bullies on YouTube, they themselves become what? Somebody please fill in the blanks in the chat. I just want to use this as a teaching moment because before Usher allegedly handed over Justin Bieber to Puff Daddy, I'm sorry, Usher's mom, you handed your son over to Puffy. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, The Review Hour. Y'all, listen to me. This is so important. This is not specific to celebrities. This can be specific to your own kids and your family, your nieces, your nephew. Somebody should be advocating for therapy. If somebody you know that is a little kid that has been abused sexually, you better be pushing for therapy, even if you got to pay for it. Because children that are violated, that do not receive intensive psychological therapy, have a 85 to 90% chance of becoming a what? A predator. A predator. If what we are hearing is true in these lawsuits and names that are being named, Usher did to Justin Bieber and handed Justin Bieber over, allegedly, on a silver platter, like his mother, what's her name? What's Usher's mother name? Handed him over on a platter. And then you got to start digging and say, okay, if your mother handed you over on a platter, was she abused? And then where did Puff Daddy get the abuse from? Listen. That does not absolve anybody of any responsibility, because of a certain age, we all know right from wrong. I don't give a damn how much money they got. I am not taking up for a grown ass man that has reaped the enjoyment of violating a man, a woman, without their consent, let alone a child. Period, point blank. Janetta. Y'all better start looking into why some of these boys hate their mamas. Why some of these boys don't like these women. Why some of these rappers. I heard something on Instagram and it was funny, but it was so true. This guy, a older guy, he said, we different. I grew up. Well, how did he say it? Damn, I can't even remember. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to do it. I don't know. Simone says Diddy is even grooming his twin girls. I know he groomed the boys. I don't know about the twin girls, but I can speak based on the accounts that are coming up in these indictments and some of the details. The boys, Justin and King Combs, have even started to host some of their parties. So they said some of these parties weren't even hosted by P. Diddy. They were hosted by the boys. The little boys started violating your daughters. The little boys started violating your little nieces. My question is to you. I've asked it before. How do the 16-year-old, 14-year-old girls get out the house? I know what happens to them when they do get out the house. But how do they get out the house without you being worried as adults? How do the boys get out the house without you being worried as an adult? Do you not notice anything that's different when they come home? Are you not worried? Because a lot of these detailed accounts, one of them was a 16-year-old girl. She said the next day, trigger warning. The 16-year-old girl, the one that went to the university and she claimed that he violated her in the studio repeatedly with another grown man. Maybe it was a studio or it was overnight. And then the next morning he raged out and began to choke her because he felt like she would tell. Now, the whole time I'm thinking, where's her parents? How come nobody was looking for her? How come her phone is not ringing like a motherfucker? How come? How does a 16-year-old get out the house? Has that type of thing happened to her and ain't nobody called the police? Is it because they were supposed to be at a sleepover? Is it because the parents thought they were somewhere they were not supposed to be? And even if that's the case, what happens when you can't reach them? Do you say, okay, maybe tomorrow, maybe she's asleep, and then okay. And then when they come home, how close are y'all to your children? How close are you to your nieces and your nephews? Would you be able to tell that something is off? Because a lot of these children, I'm not talking about the adults in this moment. I'm going to go back to the adults. A lot of these children, as you've come to see, when it happened to them, they have held these secrets for years. How does somebody come back home, go into a bout of depression, and you never discover, or you don't have the relationship with them, or you don't think to put them in therapy to get to the bottom of something's wrong with my child? Something has happened. And one thing I would tell you, they ask you in therapy, they're going to say, when did you first notice what? Can somebody please put it in the chat? When did you first start to notice? Come on, parents, help me out. I'm talking because I think, what would they say to you? And we're still on the part where we got to hold a change in behavior. A change in behavior. This is not victim blaming, but I think at this point we've got to become a little bit more hands-on with our kids. So God forbid if somebody does try some wicked ass shit, when did you first notice there was a change in behavior? Have we become so disconnected as a community? Have we become so disconnected as a generation you haven't even noticed a change in a behavior? And if you did, are you simply pushing it and discarding it as, child, that's what kids do. They're not even worth the fight. Child, that's what them teenagers do. She been having an attitude since last year. I don't know what the hell, or he's been. No. At what point do they become important enough for you to say, I don't give a damn if that is what kids do. Not in my house. Something is different. Something is dark. Something is sad. Something happened. And if he or she won't tell me, and I may not be the right one, I'm going to give mine some help. I don't think we do that enough. Oh, come on. Thank you to Latrice. I think we've all become so selfish, so disconnected that we look at kids and we can see sadness in their eyes, or we look at young women and we say, child, that's just what they do. They sexual like that. Or hell, you knew what time it was because you went. And we're going to talk about consent versus abuse on the next one. Thank you. Thank you to the Palace for recommending. Thank you to the Review Hour. Actually, she recommended that title, Consent versus Abuse. That's going to be the next one up on the docket. Bella 504 says, I noticed a change in my daughter and she told me she is depressed. Immediately set therapy for her. And can I be honest with you? If that is a child that's a teenager, let them go alone first. I know the therapist is going to invite you in and you want to be here as a parent. Let them build a relationship with the therapist so that the therapist can build up their confidence so that if there is something going on, they can invite you in first. They can practice, they can rehearse, the therapist can get behind them with the right energy so that he or she, God forbid, if it's something like that, can help them with the motivation and the right tools and the coping skills to be able to sit you down and tell you, Mom, Dad, this is what happened. And you become a part of the healing process and not a barrier to healing. Listen, I'm going to log off. The second thing I want to talk about is Young Miami. I'm sorry. I've said it before. I'll say it again. In my opinion, she is not a victim. Listen, in my opinion, she's not a victim. When I saw her tweet what she will make Gina do. Let's back up. I think it's so important for all of you to remember Cassie. We commend Cassie for having the confidence and the courage to come out and speak her truth and go for what she knows. But Cassie is not the first victim, and she's not the last. There's hundreds and hundreds before Cassie. There were many after Cassie. Cassie was the first that said, I am going to write a book. Just like Kim Porter wrote a book, Cassie wrote a book. That's what y'all don't know. She pitched it to a publisher. The publisher called P. Diddy up about 2 to 3 months. I'm going to say 2 to 4 months before Cassie filed her lawsuit. So let's back up. November's in 11. I'm going to say between July to August, September, October, November. Between July to August in 2023, Cassie wrote a tell-all book about Diddy. Listen very closely. And she worked with the publisher. The publisher called Diddy up and says, we have this exclusive book about you that's detailing the horrible things that you've done to this young lady. You have the first right of refusal to buy it. We will take it off. It'll never see the light of day. We're asking for 30-something million. Diddy and his team said, go right ahead. And they said, if not, we're going to file a lawsuit. He said, go right ahead. And they did. They said, or we're going to file a lawsuit. He said, go right ahead. And they did. And the next day, not even the next day, less than 24 hours later, that's right. Thank you. Savannah says she called his bluff. Sugar said facts. That's a fact. Less than 24 hours later, Cassie filed the lawsuit. They called his bluff, and he had to pay the $30 million. Now, had he bought the exclusive rights to the book, none of this would have happened. It's because of Cassie's lawsuit and the many more that followed that caused the U.S. government to say, wait a minute. Remember, there have not been any criminal charges filed against him by any of these women and any of these men. But because of the civil lawsuits, the U.S. government said, what's up with all of this big money exchanging hands? And everybody's asking for millions upon millions upon millions. That's how the U.S. government went down a rabbit trail. They followed the money. And when they followed the money, they said, let's see what's in his home. They raided the home. They found the tapes. Now, let me tell you something. The tapes in the U.S. government, to me, is just like stock market. Once it becomes public, it's too late because the elite, in my opinion, have always and already gotten what they needed. Have any of you heard that before? Let me open up the lines before I go a little bit deeper. JR23 said he thought he was untouchable because he was God. He thought he was untouchable, not only because he thought he was God. He said crescendo. You remember he used to say crescendo. But there were people around him, including these women, the bad girls, the Lorianne Gibsons, the publishers, the publicists, the young Miamis, the Daphne Joys, the beautiful women that made him feel like he was God, that helped him. I do not view some of these people as victims. I view them as accomplices based on their own documentation, audio, Twitter, tweets, behaviors, details included in sealed indictments. They've been there from start to finish. Let's get into it. So after Cassie went to that publisher and he said, do it. They did it. They filed the lawsuit. She got 30-something million, an undisclosed amount to which we believe is 30-something million. But had he settled, the federal government would have never sniffed that trail and picked it up. As a result, they raided that home and found so much evidence. Now, here's what I was saying to y'all. The evidence that you see, that ain't even a half of it. It's like public stock. Once you know about a stock, it's too late because the rich and already got what they needed out of it. Do you understand how this works? You'll never know. I believe there were children on that tape. I believe there were things that you and I will never know about. It's like organ harvesting. You're going to sell it to the highest bidder. Oh, you're going to sell it to the highest bidder. Just like Cassie said, I can make this go away for 30 million. Do you not think everybody that works for the U.S. government that found those tapes say, hey, got them, whomever that is, the other people who Diddy personally called out their name, Oprah, Jay-Z, he named a lot of names. Okay. Do you not think that they got to knock on the door and say, hey, he got you. You can make this go away for a nice amount of. Do you not think some of those things have been made to go away? And not because it's adults. Don't be so fooled to think that we're just talking about adults. When you talk about the Jeffrey Epstein of it all, a lot of these men have an appetite for kids. And they use the adults. They use the adults to bring in the kids. That's all I'm saying. These women are not innocent, in my opinion. And this is how Puffy determines the haves from the have-nots. For decades, Puffy has abused, these are facts. He has abused, threatened, and coerced women, primarily women, and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires and to protect his reputation and to conceal his conduct. Conceal his conduct, okay? He relied on employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise. I'll stop there. In order to create a criminal enterprise, you have to have criminals that are willing participants. To do so, Combs relied on employees. Let's talk about the haves and the have-nots. You see different people come out with a claim against Diddy every day. One girl came out, not today, but before today, another girl came out and says, Sean Puffy Combs made me do this and made me do that. No, made my boyfriend perform fellatio on him in order for me to get a job. My question was, did you get a job? No, you didn't. So your boyfriend as a grown man did that in order for you to get a job. And you wanted, so that was consent, in my opinion, not the latest lawsuit with Thalia Graves. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these randoms, the haves versus the have-nots. The have-nots are the ones where he just simply say, hey, you want to do this to me and I'll give you a job? Yeah, I'll do it. Men and women. Now, how do you establish from that the haves from the have-nots? Let me walk you through it. When you get an allowance, Young Miami, of $50,000 a month, you now become a paid what, y'all? Employee. Daphne Joy, Lori Ann Gibson, publicists, you are now relied upon as an employee who helps to influence the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise, which is why they got him on racketeering. Let me tell you what I believe the government is holding back. Oh, the females that helped. I think they're dangling the men in your face. I think the United States of America, I think they're dangling the men in your face. I think Miami, young Miami, is scared about of her wits because young Miami, as much as you laughed, as much as you find it funny that you got peed on and you was getting $50K a month, I'm sorry, you were on the payroll. You were on the payroll. And Puffy's smart, y'all. He put her on the payroll on purpose because when you hand over $50K a month, there has to be a transaction. That's how Cassie won her lawsuit because she was on a payroll by way of, what was the record company? And she sued the record company. She sued Sean Combs Enterprise. She sued Bad Boy Entertainment. Was it Epic Records? It was the one that started with an A. Help me out real quick. $250,000 a month. You're now an employee. You're now a part of the criminal enterprise. This is consent. He had help. Young Miami, you bragged about making another victim get on her knees to do unthinkable things to you. Atlantic. Was it Atlantic Records that Cassie sued? Because Cassie was an employee of Atlantic Records, but Cassie's had a great attorney to say, hold up. Smart legal team, which is another reason why they broke this down. Cassie's legal team did such a great job of presenting her case that it propelled all of the victims and some non-victims to come forward to say, if she got 32 million, how much can I get? Are we disputing that Cassie was a victim? No, we're not. Arista, I don't know if it's Atlanta or Arista. I know Cassie sued the record company because she was an employee. She was an artist. She was a talent. Young Miami is a talent. She's an artist. Carisha, please. The show, the podcast. Puffy is brilliant. She can't go against him. And I guarantee you her tapes were nowhere in that house. Do y'all follow me? Brilliant. Young Miami, you bragged about what you would make Gina do. Now, Gina came out before Cassie. Let me tell you how cold the game is, which is why I say it's important to remember that Cassie is not the first victim. She's one of the many victims. And a lot of times, victims become faceless because they're not important or deemed important on the hierarchy of the food chart, on the hierarchy of the beautiful chart. They just your daughter. They just from the hood. They don't mean nothing to us. But this one is beautiful. This one is that. This one is that. This one is that. Yeah. Okay. Now, Young Miami was indeed an employee, in my opinion, whom he had help from. Lori Ann Gibson was indeed an employee whom he had help from. And Daphne Joy was indeed an employee whom he had help from. And that's why the federal government is pulling all transactions that Daphne Joy made. Puffy ain't no damn fool. He let them run up the tab. He let them go get the hotels. He let them book the sex workers. If you heard in Cassie's lawsuit, he made her book it.
And that's what I was agreeing. What's up, Shiba?
Hey, Jay Prince, welcome.
What's going on?
Nada. What you think about what we talking about?
Well, I do personally believe, like, I think Puff Daddy is going to get convicted of the optics more than the facts. The optics looks like, he did some shady, foul stuff and all this other type of stuff. But coming from the ghetto, it's almost like a lot of us, like for an example, if we throw a party, a weed party, 420 party. Is most people like, man, y'all leave y'all the weed at home and stuff. I'm gonna supply all the weed. I'm gonna supply all the drinks and stuff like that. And so when you get there, people gonna be high. They're gonna be drinking. One thing lead to another. Next thing you know, y'all having sex. And some people be doing all kinds of stuff. When you trying to throw a party and there's gonna be some sex and stuff involved, they're gonna try to invent some stuff, right? And you gotta keep in mind, these people been going to this man party for years. This not like something they just went today and come to find out that he did all this other type of stuff. Also, Puff Daddy parties is nothing but opportunities for people. You gotta keep in mind, this man is a billionaire. He having all of the famous rappers, all of the famous singers, all of the famous basketball players, football players, everybody attending to this man parties. So I don't, and I also don't believe that he's not gonna bring nobody to his party that he do not trust, and they also not gonna go to his party that don't trust him. So I think it was a mutual trust. I think Puff Daddy probably could have fired somebody, but somebody done probably acted ass, whatever. They probably gonna fire. You got to keep in mind. Let's just say a bottle girl working in Puff Daddy parties. Elon Musk tip you. You going around giving people they drinks and stuff. You getting tipped $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say one of those girls start tripping and acting a tail at his party. He got these famous people at his party. So he might have to fire a couple of chicks. And what happens when he had to fire them? That money got cut short. So now they pissed. It seems like the moment they money got cut short, even with the R. Kelly thing, that's when everybody want to come out thousands of ancient years later and claim all of this other type of stuff when they feeling the wrath of being broke again.
Hold on. Let Sugar get in there. Sugar wanna say something.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sugar.
I just want to jump in. It all started, way back with the Mary J. Blige and Jodeci days, and and the Pac, and and all that beef. If you really want to go back, and now then we was hearing how irate he was at the school he went to, and him hitting women and everything. It was in the hip hop magazines. So, but my thing is this: it's all about the young kids. See, the thing is, you got the Foxy Brown. We read all that. They were grooming all these stars y'all seeing right now. They were groomed and then became predators. And all of them are in agreement when they go to these parties. Basically, it's what you gonna do for your success or your fame. The more you do, you know what I'm saying, the more bigger you get. You know what I'm saying? So Puffy, they slow walking this. They about to bring it all down, just like they did Weinstein. Y'all keep talking about him, but do y'all know the big execs, the top people that were offing themselves, getting off, coming up missing behind all that? it was real big. But see, Covina was happening when all that was going on. You see what I'm saying? So our attention was more on that. Pay attention, y'all. They trying to make blackface the face of PDF.
This word grooming stuff, man. Y'all talking
Hold on, Jay Prince. Give me 1
as if
second.
these
Let me
grown
tell Gen X
people.
something. Hold on, Jay Prince. Gen X, you're is saying that you want to come up, but you're not connected. I just want to let you know that. I don't want you to think I'm skipping over you. You got to drop down and come back. Go ahead, Jay Prince. Simone Wealthy, you're up next.
They talk. I hate this word groom stuff. Right? They talk as if these people not grown. They not aware of their stuff because of whatever the case. They use this word groomed. Puff Daddy didn't know these people like that to be groomed. In order to be groomed, you got to start off as a child first. You can say Cassie woo out the bed because he's with her, but all of these people attending to this party want no goddamn grown. If the thing is, if we're gonna say these Puff Daddy them groom these people or whatever the case, the whole Hollywood and let's be for real, these people give you an option before you sign up, right? They give you an option. It might don't be the option that you want, but Hollywood done a lot of people from Hollywood done told you that you gonna have to do some sets.
Not
Period. A lot of them done got up. A lot of them done came to the top because of sexual stuff, including men.
But not
So
only children can be groomed. It is a such thing as being groomed. It's a such thing as manipulation. Everybody can be manipulated, right? So what I'm saying is we can't assume everybody has
I
this.
think people enjoy being victims.
But the mindset, that's okay. I'm just stating my
It's
point. You have a
beneficial to
right
be a
to feel
victim
that,
than to be
but you can't
accountable.
ignore, hold on. You can't ignore that everybody can be manipulated, right? So you cannot speak for everybody have the same mental maturity going into any type of situation.
Well,
That's
could
all
Diddy
I'm
be?
saying.
Could a
Hold on.
question? Can Diddy be manipulated? And
Yeah, he was
let's
manipulated. You want
talk
me
to
to
let's talk
tell you
about it
who
from
groomed
his.
him? You want me to tell you who groomed him? You see what
No,
I'm
no,
saying?
I'm not
Because
talking
this,
about being groomed. I'm saying manipulated. Let us say
yeah.
by him, a lot of people think because he a billionaire that give him a lot of power. Yeah, it make him a lot of power, but one thing is also do make him extremely vulnerable, meaning that yeah, people can get groomed, but what about him getting manipulated, right? Just people, women or men who deal with him know that at the end of the day, if everything if they back against the wall, they can come up with all kinds of stuff. They could try to get pregnant by this man to manipulate him to get some money. They could claim their art card to try to get some money. Look at Cassie. The first thing she did, she didn't ask for prison. She asked for a check.
But see, the
So
thing is, when
Hold
you
on.
go
Let her
back,
finish.
see,
Go ahead.
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. I want you to get in, and I'm going to Simone. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was just getting in, but see, that's the thing though. We're all going by fragments of a story. Okay, if you 19 years old with an immature mind and you get cornered get cornered by a powerful man, so he got all this money even at that time, and he had power already. That's a power dynamic. That's a big difference already. You know what I'm saying? He's superior. Whether a female can think like, yeah, I'm gonna get him. You know, I'm gonna try to get him pregnant. Whether that is in her head or not, he already have the power to manipulate her and bend her towards his will. But go ahead.
Okay, hold
that's
on, Jay
if she
Prince.
would.
Hold on. Let me go to Simone because I got to get them in here. Simone, what are your
My bad.
thoughts? No, you good.
I
You good.
oh you ready
Go
for
ahead.
Diddy is different. Diddy is an extreme sadist. What he's done, you cannot be consenting when you have been drugged. You may agree to go and have sex and do all these freaky things, but when you get there and they're putting drugs or in the ice and doing things that you think that you're just drinking a regular drink, you might get a little tipsy or whatnot, and then you get drugged, and then you get put on camera that you are not consenting to certain things. So that takes everything away when it comes to Diddy. Diddy has been this way for years. He has been doing this for years and he's been protected. So as far as these things, as far as you were saying about the girl getting or Cassie being, just talking about the sex part. It's deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. He is super manipulative, and I think Queen was right when you were saying that he's used the women to get the freak offs, get the men, get the hotels, do all that. So if it comes back around, they have helped him. So I don't think he's just being manipulated. He, in fact, in my opinion, he's extremely, extremely dangerous. He's dangerous. The stories that we've heard that have come out, everyone cannot be lying on him. Can people take bits and pieces and lie on certain things and try to get some money out of him and any other person with means? Sure. But in this situation, this is very different, very different. So I can't agree with just the Cassie situation. That just opened up everything. And I don't know if you saw my comment earlier, Queen, but I think also that Diego, or I'm probably messing up the name of that liquor, I think they helped Cassie. Honestly, I think they gave her the backing to get those attorneys, because
Hold on, which
when he
one?
got
Who?
they,
What
they're
liquor?
the liquor brand that Diageo. There you
Oh,
go. I
okay.
think they helped fund her attorneys to get this ball rolling, because he was talking big time ish about them, and he sued them, and they were worth over $753 billion. Big bank take little bank. They're not gonna let this sadistic Negro go against them and their brand. They called
He
all
called
his
them racist.
protection is gone. Clarence Abbott gone. His protection is gone. They have bigger pockets, and people in the CIA, FBI, the same people he been using, they're over them. So when he thought that he was going to get over on them because he was jealous of George Clooney and the deal they gave him, that nigga, he sealed his fate. So that's why I think they funded Cassie, and that's why all this is coming out. But that's just all I had to say.
Oh, one thing I want to clear up. No, I'm not Jay Prince from Rap A Lot. Shout out to the old man up in Houston. The second, I want to say, when you talk about getting drugged and you can't consent, that means everybody that threw a party as an adult party needs to be in prison. Alcohol, anytime you under any influence, you cannot give consent. So this is what I'm saying. I think P. Diddy has been manipulated because of that. Because they want to say this man. I personally believe most people that came on there that did drugs or whatever, they was doing drugs before they got there. I truly believe they manipulating the whole situation. They want to pretend like they not. P. Diddy got all these people on crack, and they've been going to this man parties for years. When you said he been throwing these parties for years, that those same people is repeated people that have been going to this man parties forever. So when you saying another thing, when you talking about getting drugged, man, so that means everybody that's grown that throw a party, if you got alcohol there, you got weed there, if you got any of those sort pills, all that, that means everybody, according to these people, everybody that throws a party with drugs, alcohol, and end up having sex, everybody is grooming. Everybody done great because these women can't consent.
No,
Okay,
that's
That's
not
all
watch
I'm
it.
this. Hold
saying.
on, y'all. Hold on. Let me pull up a tape. Let me pull up an audio. Watch this. Hold on. And then hold on. Hold on. Let's hear Diddy talk about it. How the parties are actually run. Y'all ready? Hold
Yes.
on.
Yep.
Ready.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me know when you can see it. Let's hear him. Let's hear him talk about it. How it works. When you can see it, let me know.
We can see it, Queen.
Okay.
I
All
can see
right.
it.
Everybody can see it. Let's go ahead and see what we're dealing with right now. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Let's play it.
Alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right. Just different
Plurals.
blend. You need
Blends.
the ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
For watering plants?
No.
What?
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this. Like a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They
Right.
just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta
right.
keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
Yeah.
rock with me. But just
Right.
check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you talking?
Depends on the way you look at it.
Depends. Oh, people
Yeah.
start getting it gets kind of sexy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you need alcohols.
All right. Oh, hold
I
on.
personally
That was a
think
good
I
one.
Hold
personally
on.
think these clips.
Hold on. Let me go to Gen X. Hold on, J Prince. Gen X, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so friend. Okay, I'm gonna give you a definition. The bystander effect, right? So just like when Diddy, I think, either punched Cassie in her stomach or hit her while they were at the dinner table and nobody said anything. The
Mhm.
thing about this is that when I heard Diddy talk about his father, he said that his father was a big time drug dealer, right? His dad was killed. And he said, if his dad had have lived, he probably would have went into the drug game just like his father. I think that the way that Diddy conducted himself, I feel like he feels that he's not guilty of anything because he's not what his father was. But I want to bring it down to the way we go to work every day. All of us have been in workplaces where there has been somebody above us with a position or a title who has really manipulated their power and their position, mistreated people, unfairly fired, demoted, or cut pay from people because they didn't like the way they dress, talk, act, or maybe they weren't going along with the office culture, or maybe that superior did something and this individual or these individuals were like, nah, we don't want no part of that. So the thing is that I don't think it's hard for us to look at Diddy and understand the power dynamics. It does not matter whether Cassie asked for jail time or money. At the end of the day, once CNN dropped that video, that shut everybody up. I don't care if she hit him upside the head, kicked him in his privacy and ran out that room. The way that man handled that young girl was obvious that he has handled her like that before. I go back to making the band. I go back to the way that he used his power, telling them folks to go walk across Brooklyn Bridge to get him some cheesecake. I go
Pause. Do you know who it's alleged who is now being alleged that the cheesecake was for?
No, who?
Beyonce. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I go back to making the band, the way that he talked to the members of Day 26. Even after those men had sang their lungs out, he still would shoulder check them. You ain't like that. You can't sing that good. Even with Danity Kane, we saw it. This is not just about parties. This is not just about him throwing parties and everybody coming. To me, this is about the character of a man. This is about a man who was so hell-bent on having the ultimate power, the ultimate positioning, that was nobody gonna step on his position. Just like the woman who just wrote the piece, I can't remember, I don't think it's in Rolling Stone, but where she said that he wanted to know what the covers of the I think it was Vibe magazine was gonna look like. Or when we're sitting here, we're thinking about the way that he has walked around and talked to people. To Ray even shared that when he referred a family member of his to work with Diddy, probably trying to motivate the person, get him off the couch. And that family member comes back and tells him, oh, I was fired. And the family member tells him, I was fired because Diddy said, if you don't come home with me, you're fired. This ain't about just alcohol. This ain't about just drugs and partying and having a good time. This ain't just about somebody wanting to move up higher in a position. I mean, if you want to be in the music industry and it's a popping party and you're going to be the bottle girl, you're going to be able to pay your bills while you're chasing your dream, there is nothing wrong with that. That's what people are trying to do. They're chasing their dreams. What Diddy has done consistently on all platforms, whether it was with his recording artist, whether it was on these reality shows, or whether it was in his social time, he has utilized his power, his money, his name, and his positioning to overpower people and make them do what he wanted them to do. Now, it's one thing for a girl to come to the party and she might have taken some drugs. She might have been drinking. She might have been flued in. But I'm pretty sure maybe some of the women didn't know, oh, we ain't gonna be sleeping with Diddy. He done called in a male sex worker, and I'm supposed to get it on with the sex worker while he watch. Oh, wait, I done already had some, but dang, he got a bowl over here and they forcing the drugs on me. They putting it in my drink, whatever. It's not about whether they consumed alcohol before they got there or while they were there. It's about the intent of what he did and what he set up. Because no matter whether that woman was 21 or 39, when she walked in that room, her intent may have been one thing and his may have been another. And I was in the military. Hold on. I was in the military. Okay. I had a senior non-commissioned officer tell me he was just prescribed Viagra. What was he supposed to do with it? I have been sexually assaulted in the military. So when I think about Diddy, I think about all of those military non-commissioned officers who were well known, well respected, connected as far as organizations like Masons, who were high ranking. And even when I went to the EEO representative or the EO representative or the sexual assault representative, I'm talking to this Black woman and I'm telling her what this Black man doing. And she looked at me and didn't say a word, because to her, their affiliation was more important than protecting me. So I understand that power dynamic. And if I didn't want my career ruined, if I wanted to get promoted, if I didn't want to get blackballed, or even worse, if I didn't want to get shipped off to Afghanistan in the next 3 months, I needed to figure out how to get along with this NCO while he pressing me and pulling his private parts out in my face. So I was in my 30s. So all this stuff about what women, ain't nobody finna go up in there, let nobody throw them around and do all that mess. Ain't no amount of money. And if it is, then that means that she was in a vulnerable space. But at the end of the day, it's about it's about the complete character.
Hold on.
It's about
Hold on. Keep it. Jay Prince, if you respond, can you keep it to 30 seconds or less? So I can go to the next 3 women that are waiting. Go ahead.
Yes, I think a lot of that stuff she was saying, Cap, but one thing I learned about certain people, being a victim is very attractive, right? And because it brings a lot of benefits, it gets you a lot of attention. So when you're talking about, we have seen women. I live across the street from women in an apartment building. They go fuck a white landlord, a sloppy white fat man, just to get their bills paid. I know women that comes and you talking about they just be in a vulnerable position. No, them women be want to fuck. Go to any strip clubs in the hood. They do extremely a lot for less. You put 3,000 ones on the table. Her best friend, her cousin, her auntie, everybody gonna try to flip upside down and do all kinds of shit. So you mean to tell me at a billionaire party surrounded by billionaires, millionaires, they ain't gonna do whatever? They not gonna do all of this? Nah, I'm not. I want to make it clear. I'm not agreeing with him being with a 19-year-old. I'm not agreeing with no kids and stuff like that. But we ain't finna make no grown ass motherfucking woman be a motherfucking victim. A lot of these, I truly believe a lot of those women was smoking dope and all this other type of stuff way before they even came to Diddy party. And when you talk about a rich person high, right? Cocaine used to be called the rich people drugs. So that means rich people been getting high all the time for a long time. And when you speak about the military, it's a lot of sex and crazy stuff like Diddy that happens in the military. How come you ain't trying to tear them down? How come you ain't getting those military people?
They done put a hit out on you on YouTube.
I wrote it in a book. I put it down, bro.
Hold on. Wait a minute. They
I
done
wrote
put
a
a hit
book.
out on you on YouTube, Jay
I
Prince.
wrote a book.
I need to go ahead and put you in witness protection and put you on mute. Let me go to Discerning Goddess. Go ahead, Discerning Goddess.
Thank you, Queen Shiva, for having me up here. They say you can tell a lot by a person by what comes out of their mouth. And I will say this, um, in the our community, a lot of times we have grown up to know that there is some strange relative, i.e., uncle or cousin, that is strange and you should not leave your child with. We've grown up to make ourselves comfortable with growing up with a predator in the family and not putting that person away or having something done to them to keep the other children and family members safe. With that being said, a lot of the people that come up and defend the actions of a P. Diddy, they need to really go get some deep mental health check, because there is nothing okay about what we are hearing. Whether he did it or not, it'll all come out in the wash. But what we are hearing this man has done, there is no justification and no way that a person in their right mind can come up here and defend it. What I do know is this: hurt people. Abusers protect other abusers, and predators, they also protect predators. So you should be very careful about how you stand on any panel, any soapbox, and say to the world what you think about women who are saying anything about these current events. That's all I got to say, because I'm too angry to address foolishness.
All right. Nina, you up next. DD Star, I see you. You coming down the pipeline. Nina, what are your thoughts real quick? And then
Good
review hour,
evening,
your last, and
Queen.
then I'm
Good
going to go to
evening,
everybody
Queen.
else.
I'm in this thing. I'm in this thing. And I agree with the last young lady. I understand that everybody have their opinions. But I think that there has been a mindset that has gone back years ago about how women should be treated. And oh, if she didn't want it, then she shouldn't have showed up. She already know what's going on. No, the thing is to protect. I don't go somewhere and when I get there, oh, I already know what I'm supposed to be doing when I get there. And I'm drinking a thing of bottled water, and all of a sudden I'm being mistreated or I'm being dogged out. No, that has to go. That's unacceptable. What about the young boys? What about Justin Bieber? What about Usher? What about all these other things that have been going on? You cannot ignore it. There has been grooming going on. Now, right now, we're talking about specific things that are going on for women. And I know I have been put in places where I didn't want to be. And God bless me, I've never been in a Diddy situation because I don't think I can mentally handle it. I don't know. That's horrible. But they pick and choose, they groom, they got to keep, if they like, they don't, then you get the old too stale. Yeah, I know y'all don't, look at that old thing up in here. Y'all want them young, fresh things. You got people that are predators. We're talking about predators that want to groom. They want the young girls. They want the naiveness. They want that. That's what they're looking for. You got some people that's new to different levels of the game. Some women think, oh, I'm going to hang out, and they think they know what they're doing, and they don't, and they get in sticky situations, and then they learn the hard way. You got some women that say, hey, you got rich people like a Tiana Taylor. I'm just trying to think of some rich people that are not going to get called out, and they don't went and hung out. They've gone to hang out at Diddy parties. There's been a lot of people that have been at Diddy parties. Were they victims or participants? They were probably participants, but you've got victims there too. You cannot deny that. You can't. It's just a little too one-sided for me. I'm sorry. It just sounds like, and I don't want to be negative or put anybody down about how they feel, but it's like there's no protection towards the Black woman. Oh, y'all out here flipping and stripping for less. She out here sleeping with the landlord for rent money. Okay, I ain't gonna talk about nobody mama. It's a lot of mamas that made it the way to do. They did what they had to do to get it. That don't mean that's where they want to be at. But we women get judged real harshly. Well, y'all men just think y'all can walk around free. I'm just gonna kind of cut it off because it's a little heated for me, Queen. But I think that this is very deep. It's not just it's deep. We're talking about predators and manipulators and narcissists. That's where we are. We're not talking
And
about the
remember,
basic club
part
and
of the
people can get
conversation
mistreated in the
is women
basement.
can
Okay.
be predators
Okay.
too. Women. So remember, hold on. Not a whole part of this is, did he have help? This is my notion. I want to focus on a part of now. This is a very well-rounded conversation. Yes, it's a triggering. This has been a triggering topic. Not tonight. This was out before I came on tonight. I'm a week late. So the triggering happened 7 days ago. Because I'm not the first person to talk about it. This is real life happening. But my question is, did he have help?
Yeah.
Not every
Yeah.
woman is innocent because she has a vagina. I'm not agreeing with
Yes.
nobody on the panel. I'm not disagreeing with nobody on the panel, but I still take a strong stance that this man was able to do what he did from 2000, as early as 2001 to 2024 because he had help. You don't get away with that because everybody is a victim and you're the only bad boy. There's some bad girls in this camp. That's what I'm saying. Now,
Yes.
the rest of the
True,
stuff
true.
And
panelists,
Carisha ran
Can I
her
say
mouth
one
too
thing,
much.
Queen? Because you know I got a big mouth. Think about
hold
how
on.
R. Kelly's sister treated him. That's just one example, and I'm gonna be quiet.
Yeah, and I agree. So I think it would do us a lot of good to be inclusive to say, yes, Black women are not protected. That's a real phenomenon. That's a real fact. But in doing so, are we going to protect that notion so much that we don't hold the Black women accountable that have also contributed to the predatory nature of men like Diddy, luring in other Black, not just Black women. Black women are not only victims of him. He has no particular type. He don't care if you're a dog with 8 legs. He wanted it all. I want it all. I can have everything. You heard him say it out of his mouth. If you've been following him, I am so down the rabbit hole. I have so much proof over the years, but there are women that have helped him. His mother has helped him. His publicist allegedly has helped him. Carisha has helped him and bragged about it. Lori Ann Gibson, in my opinion, you recruited the talent. And now that the talent is coming out to say we were abused, we were made to do this, you work with them firsthand. Boom, boom, cat. Boom, boom, cat. You didn't know what was going on in the other rooms? That's all I'm saying, Nina. I'm not. So I understand it is triggering, but let it trigger
And
us to the point
I
that
respect your opinion, Queen. You know I do. And I
yeah.
get it. I don't want to be so one-sided though. That is when I hear
Predict with
certain
you. That's all
opinions,
you.
it's like, yeah, that's all. But I'm quiet.
Yeah, we can't control what comes out of somebody else's mouth. We're not here to police somebody's opinion. Because on a good day, when we agree with their opinion, it's an amen. I'm not saying I agree with Jay Prince. I think he's heavily left. He dropped down. He left. Because y'all was giving him a hard time. But I'm saying at the end of the day, I'm well-rounded enough that I can listen to anybody and be like, okay, I don't agree with that. I was just teaching that in my YouTube class. I don't run a dictatorship. But hey, we cannot police anybody. It can be one-sided. Sometimes it is, y'all. But guess what? We can agree to disagree. And that's why you can present your opinion very strongly. That's it.
Right. And I apologize if I came off, I'm aggressive. I can get
No, you
aggressive when I
didn't.
want. But that's all I'm saying. But the thing is, we do have women predators, men predators.
Mm-hmm.
We do. It's a cultural
So let's
thing. They
talk
have a
about that.
cult.
Let's talk about the so now you want to talk about the culture in this industry, and that includes the women. Yeah, these
Yeah.
women helped him. Him. Yes, he even manipulated to the point. Like, a perfect example. I know a guy where he have women, right, make his money. You understand what I'm saying? So he manipulate them to make money for him. He manipulate them to do things for them. They grown women. Why do they do it? Man, is you that good? Is your you spitting that much? You whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he did. So he thinking he keeping his hands clean, but it goes deeper than this. It goes to politicians. It goes to police. It goes to judges. Like this. This is deep. He's gonna bring the house down because he's not going to survive in there.
And
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't think
true.
they're
And
gonna
guys,
let
I'm
him.
gonna hang up. But check this out, y'all. And I ain't lying. You always got a pimp. You always got a madam, and you always got the paid people that let the whole house run. That's all this is. It's a millennium. It's growing. This been going on since whenever, before Christ, whenever Greek, whatever, when the Romans, whatever. All this mess. People been doing this. Like my daddy said, they starting to get out in the open with it. It's Babylon, it's all those things. So this ain't nothing new. It's just a game and the players change. That's all it is, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's modern day pimpstation. And it's the madams. You gonna have them. And they're
All right.
flunkies. And they're gonna get the HEOs in line. That's their job. They may do it in a different manner. They may not be aggressive. You know, they might not be the Ronnie from Players Club, but that's all it is. And I agree with you, Queen. I do. And I'm quiet now, y'all. I'm quiet.
All right, Dee Star, you got the floor. The review hour, you're up next. And then I'm going to show y'all one more clip and we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to show y'all Young Miami.
Hello, Queen Sheba and
Hey.
chat panel. So I'm an old hip hop head, okay? I remember when Diddy started. I used to be one of those girls that wanted to be in hip hop. So the stories that are coming out now, they've been out since the 90s. It's been before the 2000s. We just didn't have the internet. But there was a lot of things that we learned early on in my late teens, early 20s that I know of. But I do want to say this. When you're talking about the bad girls, we can look at it this way. You know, there's a saying that there's victims who become villains. A lot of women who go through abusive situations, you either become an advocate against it or you become one of the predators. Because some people feel if it happened to me, I'll never let this happen to me again, but I'll do somebody else because of the anger and they never get healed. Then there's women who feel like I got to get it how I can. If he's offering me this money and that's all I got to do tonight, I'll drink, smoke, get high alone, so I can forget about it in the morning. You got those women. So it's not like any of this is new. Now, I know the gentleman caller, I forgot his name, what he was saying did come off harsh, but to some degree he was telling some truth about living in the hood. Because I used to hang around a lot of guys because I was in the rap game. So a lot of the guys, I would hear how they talk, I hear how they would treat women. And so they taught me a lot about how to look at men, but also to look at women. And so, this game of the music industry, it is all about, it was male dominated, first of all. So if you was one of those women who got in there, you had to do something to get in there. They were not letting you in just because, okay? But then once they get in, they enjoy the lifestyle, the other part of it, try to forget what they had to do to get there, because we got to remember all the young girls who came and went in this music industry. And if you see them today, they messed up. So there's a lot of deep rooted things that has happened in this music industry. They have not even touched the surface. But when it comes to Diddy, it started with his mama. Every time I see that last video that he showed with him with his mama, and she was okay with kissing him in the mouth and showing her white fingernails, and we know that this is what it's supposed to be. And also, if you know her history, go back to her history. She used to have the girls in the modeling industry. She was saying she was helping them get modeling jobs, but they were really escorting for her. This is old tea. If you know, you know. So I agree, Queen. It's some bad girls in the industry, but not only some of them wasn't always doing it because they wanted to. Some of them did it because they were the victim that became the villain. That's my opinion.
Thank you for sharing. No, thank you for sharing. I want y'all to look up a case that I'm going to cover. It's called Desiree Gibson. Google Desiree Gibson with a B. She, beautiful girl from New York, went to Jamaica for a few weeks, came up dead. They found her on the side of a road in Jamaica with her throat slashed. They believed that she was lured out of the hotel room by a group of girls or a girl that she met. You better believe it's some female predators that will hand you over to the jaws of a beast. You better believe it's some female predators. That's a whole different Shanquilla Robinson. That's a whole, you better believe there's some you can't just trust a woman. the bad girls of the industry because she's a woman. There are women that will allow men to run trains on you with their eyes closed while they're in the kitchen scrambling eggs and won't think nothing of it because
Yep.
they become immune to it. They become conditioned to abuse. Bitch, what you tell my bitch? That's what we do, girl. I'm just saying, I've never experienced that, but I know there's an underground life like that. So to think that you're safe with every woman because she's a woman and she has a vagina,
Mm,
that would that would just be foolish. So there are women that are just as predatory as men in this industry.
right.
Period. I
Outside
wanted
the
to say
industry
I agree.
too.
That's right.
Shit. Outside the industry too, Queen.
oh yes,
Outside of
outside
it too, it is some predator. It's
Yes.
some women. You have to look at everything. You have to look at everything. I had a good friend of mine, a woman who was her boss. She had got transferred to my city, and she was working with her. She was a mentor to her. She asked her out for happy hour, and she got there. She had already ordered her drink, and immediately when she tasted it, she said it just tasted funny. She drank a couple sips, and she started feeling funny, and she went to the bathroom and she knew something wasn't right. And she just started throwing water all over her face. And she went back and she said, I gotta go. I gotta go. And she had left that job. And so, but her and the lady was close. The woman never called to check on her, nothing. I think we both think that she was trying to drug her. We're talking about a woman, a mature woman, but she was a deviant because she said she said they were very, very close. Now, you're very, very close. And she said the way she was looking at her after she took that drink, she said she just felt something was totally off and something, it was like a setup. And this is someone who she had looked up to, who was mentoring her. They worked together. So it is some deviant women, and what Dee Star was just saying about the mama, Diddy's mama. Oh yeah, I heard that too about her. You can look at her eyes and tell something's wrong. Yeah, he get it from his mama.
Yep. And I'm sorry, I stand corrected. Desiree Gibbon. Gibbon is her name. Look at the story, y'all. That story's been around for like 8 years, maybe a little bit longer. Desiree
How do you
Gibbon,
spell her
beautiful
last
lady.
name? Gibbet.
It's on the screen. It's on
Oh,
the
oh.
screen. The review hour. I want to get you in really quickly before I go to the next video, and then we're gonna wrap up, y'all. We got 5 minutes. The review hour.
Hey, good evening, and I will make it quick. Uh, excuse me. I think that with Puffy Diddy, uh, he doesn't. The way that he looks at consent is when you walk through the door, and a lot of those young ladies didn't realize that. They thought they had to give consent right before the act, and if they said no, it should stop, the act. But in his head, in my opinion, consent started when you walk through the door. If you're going to that type of party, and like Didi Star said, all this stuff been out even before the internet. People talk, but some people wanted, some of these women, I'm not going to say all, they wanted the money and the fame, so bad that they had to be in the circle. That's not to say that they wanted someone to hurt them. But there's a first phase, to before that, horrendous act happened. They wanted the fame, they wanted the money at whatever cost. They just didn't know what it would cost. And so, for all the young ladies out there now that that want it so bad, just remember, when you're dealing with someone like Puffy, to me a sociopath, then in my opinion, consent starts when you go across that threshold at the door. So saying no is not going to appeal to a person like that.
Good point. I agree with what you said. I agree with some aspects of what you said when you said some women just wanted the fame. But at what point does your fame cross the lines and the boundaries of enabling or seducing other women to become victims of a predator in exchange for your fame?
Oh, it's over then at that point, because once you get in and you decide right then, I'm willing to do whatever to get what he is offering to me. So they no longer are the victim. To me, in my opinion, you become the accomplice.
And can I say one thing, Queen?
Sure.
That's why a lot of people don't believe Dawn now. See, my problem with Dawn is I'm not saying she wasn't a victim, but my problem is when all your group members was trying to get out, you wanted to stay. Why did you want to
Mhm.
stay? Why was you okay with staying with all this bad treatment? Because she didn't do one group with him, she did two. She wrote all this music, she did a lot, and she knew of a circumstance with one of those other band members in day 26. Some things had happened. She knew all of that. She was around all of that at that time. And now in 2024, she's speaking up. I'm not saying she's not a victim. I'm just saying it's hard for people to look at her the same because she stood by with all of it. She
She
stood
was
by.
she
She
was
did.
still holding out for the fame. She was still holding
There you
out,
go.
praying that he was gonna, give it to her.
He
Allow
gave
it
her more
back.
than he gave Cassie, to be honest, by way of record deal. You remember he didn't he gave Cassie one song.
Yeah, but she did never get paid for all that music. She wrote all of Diddy King stuff. She wrote everybody's stuff. She didn't
But
get
even when
paid.
she went solo by herself for years.
Yeah, I know. But she still big up to him in what 2020 when they was gonna do another show together. They was gonna do a TV show together, like a making of the band. She was still okay with him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she's not a victim, but
Right.
according to what your conversation is now, she makes herself not. It's hard for people to plead, to really feel for her because of the fact of outwardly she was showing that she supported him no matter what,
And
even
I
though
think
all
what
of this stuff was going on around
I
her.
think and I'll break it down. I think what we're saying is it becomes very hard to win the vote of the people when you've benefited from the predatory behavior against others.
Exactly.
But
And
you
it's
know,
Yes,
caused,
yes.
yeah, when you benefited from the predatory behavior of others for a number of years, and people are questioning not if whether or not if you're a victim, but if your record career would have continued to take off, would you have ever come forward if the benefits would have been sustainable?
And then I'm going to drop down, and I also take into consideration that they were, some of them, most of them were very afraid of him. So even if they, it's just, that's just another way of looking at it. Even though they were able to benefit at times, and with knowing all the information that they did know about, but then there's, from everything that I'm hearing from different interviews that I look at, he was a ruthless person. And if he told you he was going to do something, he meant it. And so there's that fear too, that,
But that goes back to where are where's your people, your parents, your brothers, your uncles? Like I'm just saying.
I
Ain't
think I
nobody had hold on. Ain't nobody had no mama or daddy that said, I don't give a fuck who he is. You know how we can get black and down with it. Then that motherfucker I'm sorry. I'm putting on the show. I'm just saying, ain't nobody got no people like that. He the only bad motherfucker in the room.
when he
Maybe he
We
blowing up
preyed on
cars,
fine.
people. Maybe he prey on people. Well, like the making of the band, they situations was not good at all.
But
Um,
they was hood. They from New Orleans. Them boy, if you know anything
Yes.
about New Orleans, them boys down, they get down with the good down. I'm just trying to think of the I agree with you, Sugar.
Yeah,
At what
I'm just saying
yeah.
everybody is really right. You understand? Because it's a lot of elements that go in it, but we cannot analyze it if we don't look at it from their perspective, their mindset. We can say how we could think people should think and react. I get it. So I just be looking at it like, oh, y'all really right, because it could come from that perspective and it can come from this perspective. But you know what I mean? You really don't know, like you said, fear, all of that, all of those elements goes into one whole that we really gonna get whoever
But
that
not
is.
the victim, the family members. I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm sitting back in New Orleans. I'm gonna be here. I ain't chasing fame. Y'all know how we get down as a people. I'm not my
Yes,
little niece
ma'am.
that needs the record deal. Come on, black people, let's talk.
All of
Where is
us.
our
All of
backbone?
us.
But check out
Yes.
this
We
too.
all have
That's what
someone in our
he
family.
go
It's
ahead.
been
We
many
all
times
have
I don't want to
someone
pull
in
up.
our family that don't have anything to lose. We know who them cousins and uncles is who don't give a fuck. If you touch one of mine, don't call me, because I tell my children all the time, if you call me, know that it will be handled. I ain't no big bad bear, but I know some people who know some people who know some people. You know my crazy children won't call me. They'll try to handle it or get somebody else to deal with their problem because they
Fact.
know their mama is touched.
Mm.
But that was the thing about Dawn too. Her dad went all the way up there in that situation,
Exactly.
and he didn't bring her home. Oh, okay.
Well, out of fear. She talks
Well,
about
no, he
that.
got her. No, he wouldn't. He didn't come out of fear. Her dad. She called her dad, and he showed up
No, what I'm saying
He
is
and
showed
that he
up,
did.
but it
and
didn't
got her
stop the
ass about that car.
behavior.
Did he loose her from that car?
No, he got her from the car. But what I'm saying though, I mean, I ain't have a daddy, so this what I imagine my daddy would have done if he was my daddy for real. We wouldn't have just been sitting there talking. Some
Mm.
actions would have had to happen, and I wouldn't have just hopefully my daddy wouldn't have just came by himself when he's hearing what's going on with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
My daddy would have dipped, and all I would have been like, "Where he at?" And it would have been a ruckus. And I've been like, "Oh Lord,"
okay.
he said he was going to the bathroom. Next thing you know, baby, baby.
And let me,
I don't think
can
any.
I add
But
something about Carisha? Let me ask. I'm from born and raised from Miami. It used to be Carol City. Now they call it Miami Gardens. Let me, Carisha Brownlee, and this is going to connect to what we're talking about. Her family is well known for handling business. So I do not understand why she would be in fear for her life because
she
it
was.
don't matter. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't
Thank you.
understand her. Don't
Well,
no,
let me
she's
play her
not
tape.
her
Let
her
me play her
sister
tape
doing this.
before you go any deep. Let me play her tape. Who is this talking? Because I want to make sure you go up first after her tape, her
Discerning
audio.
God.
Okay, let me play her audio. I'm glad you said that. Not everybody is a victim. There are several victims of P. Diddy, including Cassie. Cassie's not the only one. Kim Porter, to name a few. Also, men and boys that are victims. But I also want to challenge you all to know not every woman was a victim because there are some bad girl predators in that camp. Let's take a look. Let me know if y'all can see this.
So how many rounds you be going?
You know.
The people don't.
You know them.
I know, but the people don't.
Okay, so
So
what's the
I'm
answer?
asking for
Hold
the
on.
people.
Hold
What's the
on.
answer?
Hold on. I forgot to take the thing off. Okay, let's start all over. I'm sorry. Here we go.
So how many rounds you be going?
You know.
The people don't.
You know them.
I know, but the people don't.
Okay, so
So
what's the
I'm
answer?
asking for the people.
What's the answer? What's the answer?
Baby, let me tell y'all something. On which yacht? This don't go to sleep. I be like, God. I'm gonna tell y'all something for real. I really thought that I was gonna like make him tap out. Like I really thought he was gonna be being out no chance. This don't go to sleep. Like I be like, go to sleep. You gotta be energized, you gotta be charged up like a Tesla.
When you going off the grid with me, you got to go to sleep for a week.
Yeah,
He said, when you go off the grid with me, you got to go to sleep for a week. Now let's get into going off the grid. Going off the grid is the freak offs. Y'all, this is a willing participant.
Be giving no sleep.
What was your favorite time that I took you off the grid?
When was your favorite time that I took you off the grid?
We want the real details. It's explicit. Say whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can get the real details, but
We could push the envelope.
Where were you? Where were you? Huh? Where were you when you went off the grid the first time?
The very first time? Like first time ever? And we had went to Love Island for my birthday. That was like the very first time.
Yeah, I have an island.
He took her to a private island when they went off the grid the first time.
This is just for inspirational motivation and uses only. You know what I'm saying? You don't know a lot of black men that come from the hood that got an island. I got an island. It's called Love Island. So when I took you to Love Island, and then you realize that
So how many rounds you be going?
Discerning God is your thoughts.
I would hate to try to sound like the moral protector or moral high ground here, but I really feel bad for the fact that her son has to grow up and see this forever on the internet and her daughter. Unfortunately, Carisha is a product of her environment. I have to say it. And for whatever reason, people saying she was working because she's financially responsible for her whole family. That could be so, but she's going to have to reap the consequences of her activity and involvement in this whole thing. And that's the part I'm sad about. But she was a willing participant from what I can see, and any juror would probably agree. That's where
All
I'm at
right,
with that.
Simone
But
Wealthy, what are your thoughts?
You know, I do believe she is. I don't know. I do think she was a willing participant. She was, going along with it. But I also think I honestly I feel perplexed with her. I feel bad because her career is never going to be the same. She's not going to have a career after any of this. So I don't think she thought it through. I think she was just looking at the lights, the money, the materialistic things of items of everything. She just but yeah, she definitely not 100% of a victim. So yeah, yeah, and she might even be a co-conspirator.
Ooh, the review hour.
That would be horrible.
It's documented. She just may be a co-conspirator. I have the
Oh yeah,
tweets of what she
oh
told the
yeah,
girl that puppy when that girl stomped that. I ain't gonna even say it. It's
yeah.
triggering. I'm gonna cover it on a different
Mm,
day. The
She ain't no
Asian
victim.
girl that he abused prior to Cassie,
Mm,
and he traded out for young Miami. That she told that girl, I will have Puff make you get on your knees and eat it because you're a muncher. You're an eater, or whatever she
oh,
called her.
oh, I remember the tweets. Oh
You
yeah,
remember
she's
them
definitely
tweets?
no victim. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's no victim. Not
yeah.
at all. Not at all.
Because the girl had been Gina had been demoted.
Yeah,
Had been
yeah.
demoted. The review hour. And young Miami has referred to herself. She says, I'm a whore. You
Right.
got
She
anywho,
sure
the review
has.
hour.
Yes, I think she was in on it. She was one of his soldiers. And before all of this hit the fan, she was proud. She was a proud soldier. And so she got to suffer the consequences. And I did put in the back chat, I think it went in the back chat, that I think about Steve and his wife's daughter, Lauren. I think that's her
Lori.
name, Lori.
Mhm.
She
yeah,
dodged
but
a bullet.
they're mighty quiet.
She
They're
dodged a
real
bullet
quiet.
because she was almost his girlfriend.
Well,
you know,
she slept with him and his son.
well, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, then she know what time it is then. If she gets down like that, I've heard the gossip, heard them say that out there. But if it's true, then
Gotcha.
she knows what time it is.
Dee Star. Did I? And then Dee
So
Star.
I don't know. I don't know. When I used to watch Carisha Please, and to me, when she would have her guest on, they always end up getting in a conversation like it was very flirty, man or woman, almost like she was inviting them. That's what I saw. I don't really know about her. I never listen to her music. You know, I'm still an old school hip hop person. So the new hip hoppers, I don't really know about them as much. But that was the one thing I noticed, that when she talked to people, it was almost like she was inviting them to whatever was going on. And if you paid attention, a lot of them, they already run in those circles. So I feel like she was not only a participant, but also she was making things happen to continue to get her stipend every month. She had to work for her stipend, not just in one way, but in other ways too. That's my opinion.
Thank
And
you.
also, could I just say one more thing? Then I'm going to drop down, like I said I was going to do 5 minutes ago. Um, we got to remember how this what in the order, not the order, the indictment, it said that he ran it. It was like the mafia, the mob. So these people, they had positions, these women and men. So yeah, they were a part of it. And no matter how much they cry or shed their tears, we can't be moved by it because they were part of that organization. Because that's what it was. It was the mafia.
Yeah, that's why the racketeering charges come in, and which is
Yeah.
why I broke it down from how he deemed who was the have and who were the have-nots. If he decided that you were a half, you begin to get an allowance, aka you became an employee, which is why I said Carisha, Lorian Gibson, Daphne Joy, okay? And you were deemed an employee if you were found to be worthy. You got money, otherwise you were disposable. You were something to be used. And the ones that became employees turned either a blind eye to the new recruits that were going to be disposed of and used, or they brought them in by way of talent and all of the things that the indictment says, false promises of success, all of that, boom, boom, clat, choreographer, the whole operation, the racketeering of it all. Gen X, what are your thoughts?
I think that for as far as Carisha goes, I think that they had a symbiotic relationship. I don't think I've ever heard Diddy refer to somebody the way that he referred to her. I think that Carisha held social currency that he no longer held. And I think he recognized that. And I think that's one of the things he kind of explained about their relationship. She was young, she was popping, she was part of the City Girls. I think that she got reared in because he knew he had to. I mean, she obviously was telling him what she wanted, and he probably did it exponentially. And so I just think that, you know, she got a little too arrogant, right? With, like you said, she got moved up and she became very arrogant. And I think that it's definitely going to bite her in the butt. And I think that, one of the things I will say is that when Justin Combs was arrested for that DUI, if we remember, Misa Hilton posted, "I knew I should have kept my son away from you." But then she went, I think, and came back and said something to kind of, try to smooth that post over. And so, I mean, it goes further back. And like you said, there were a lot of women in a lot of rooms who looked the other way, wrangled women in. And I think that Carisha's arrogance is going to be to her demise. And I think it actually then kind of cemented kind of what really was going on in the mindset behind all of this stuff. So,
Yeah. Very good points. I think Carisha was Cassie's replacement. I think he learned a lot from his mistakes with Cassie. And I'm not talking about how he brutalized her and how he preyed upon her. I think he realized that by not giving Cassie a little bit of something, he gave her the freedom to leave. So I think he tied Young Miami into a lot of deals that would
yep.
make it hard for her to leave.
And then it also, I think, in reinforced her loyalty to him, right? Like with Carisha Please and the Revolt TV contract and the alcohol and all of this. So, and she was thinking, shoot, I'm gonna keep on getting. And I think she really did think that this man untouchable, especially when she's in the rooms and she's seeing what he's doing and what everybody got going on. She's like, he been doing this for this long and ain't nobody did nothing. Oh, he untouchable, so I'm untouchable. Crazy.
Yep. Somebody said, oh, Tracy, the realtor says, where's the white woman who helped Diddy? His who helped Diddy, his assistant, his PR person. She just abruptly stepped down after 20. How long? She's been with him since day one. His ride or die, his vote. She's running for the hills.
His assistant too. That other lady as well, that white lady. She went to North Carolina State, and she worked for a couple of other entertainment companies before she got him. I think she's also helped, and he also set her up because he made special tweets celebrating her birthday and saying, "Oh, I wouldn't know what I would do without you." I can't think of her name, but I know the PR lady's one, but it's another white girl too.
Okay. Rose says that clear lady got the hell on. She she disconnected her phone, her email, everything. This lady is trying to completely go off grid because she understands. Listen, one thing about, let me just tell you something, ladies. There's still a good old boys club when it comes to men and their diabolical behaviors. And the sadistic ones with an appetite for abuse, predatory nature, the darkness, the dark side of what you've never seen and you don't want to see, right? And in some ways, they will protect each other, even if it means keeping their mouth shut and putting a woman on the guillotine as a sacrificial lamb. We've seen it happen before. So this woman was smart enough to know that she better get the hell up out of Dodge, disconnect her phone and her email. You see, not one man has disconnected his phone and his email because she understands that no matter how loyal I've been as a woman, they got next on me.
True.
And that don't mean she's innocent, but now she understands. You get what I'm saying? And she's probably going to lawyer up and she's afraid. And let me be very clear. They came out with news today that say Puff Daddy is scared to eat in prison because he's afraid that they're going to poison him. Oh, you know why? Because you're afraid that they're going to do you like you did your victims. They're going to slip you a little something like you slipped them.
Right, and he don't want that to happen because he have to be in control of it. And I think also he coming down off of his extracurricular activities that now he's starting to get paranoid and all the stuff they go through with withdrawals. I think he's having those problems.
And he would always have somebody check his food. That was one thing that he did. He had somebody to check his food because I think he got hair in his food one time. And ever since then, somebody has to check his food before he eats it. So he was already, you know what I'm saying? He probably gotten really used to that. And now ain't nobody checking your food. If anything, they spiking your food. So
well, I think there's powers that be. So you remember this? It came out. The propaganda is he was under suicide watch. Now, I think now you have no control, and the powers that be with the money up on the money. Was it Sugar or somebody said this big bank take little bank? And Sugar said the ones that help Cassie with the lawyers.
Payback.
Remember, Sugar said that big bank take little bank, but guess what? I can also take media headlines. I can pay for a headline. I can set this thing up to say that you are ideating, so that when I'm ready to slip you a little something, people saw it coming 2 months ago, 3 months ago. You got no control. Crescendo, baby. It's big bank take little bank, and I'm gonna put this in a headline. And I'm going to tease you and I'm going to play with you like a little rat, like a cat does. Like big cats do. They toy with their before they attack. And that's what I'm going to do with you like you did your victims.
Make it plain, Queen. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he messed with the wrong ones. He messed up. I think his drug addiction really took him over. When he decided to sue Diageo or the liquor company, that's when he messed up. I honestly think we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this going on today if he hadn't made that move. He made the wrong move with going against them, honestly.
And then, his dad. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just about to say real quick, his dad, of course, was in with the mafia. And one of the things that has always kind of followed him, too, is that he was connected within the mob and the mafia as well. And, sometimes you get too big for your own britches and you forget, in our culture, we see him as the big dog and everything, but like everyone has said, somebody else is like, we tired of this. We got to handle this. And so I think he realizing he was in a pecking order in the bigger scheme of things.
I agree.
That's what I was thinking. Cause you know what? If you go back to the 90s, he was thirsty. He was just like all these little rappers that he take advantage of today. That's the way he was when he first came out. So to see him to progress to where he is now is crazy to me. Because I remember that little kid running after Andre Harrell, Heavy
That little
D,
skinny
all
pig
the
head.
right
Yep.
with nothing, doing free
Oversized,
shows, doing
oversized
whatever,
clothes.
right, and doing whatever he had to do. If he had danced in a video for free, because you know they didn't have the money back then, he was doing whatever he had to do. But then he has he became a monster. So you could see how he changed. And I'm sorry, but you know, allegedly some of the taking out that they allegedly tying him to, you know, that's that type of demonistic behavior. You become darker and darker, and to me that's where the use came from. You
Mhm.
trying to forget some of this stuff that you know you have done and you guilty and you played a part in, and once you crossed over there's no coming back. So he just got worse, 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 and that's what we're seeing today. He was not like this the in the 90s. I mean, he was bad, but he wasn't to this degree. You can
And
see
you
how
could
he progressively changed.
and you could think about how Kid Cudi, of course, recently just shared like all of the mental health issues he's been having. I would too if somebody blew up my car in my driveway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For
I
real.
don't. You see, I mean, over a woman. I don't think I'd ever feel comfortable. So I mean, like Queen was saying, and I think it was Simone was saying, it's also too about the men, or maybe it was Sugar, but it's also too the men. But we do go back to how these women helped him to do what he's done. I mean, that's crazy. I would
Well,
have
he
mental health issues too. So
Well, he wouldn't
I,
have got to this level without help. He's had help every
that's
step of the
right.
way. And I
Yes.
disagree. I think he has been diabolical since day one. He has been diabolical when he didn't have the money. The money just, highlights everything. But he, has been stated that he beat up his girlfriend at Howard severely in front of
you
people.
did,
You
yep.
know what I mean? That
Right.
is when you're talking about an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. He went down there his freshman year. So he's been diabolical. He's just, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger. The money, he can cover up more things. He can hire security. And honestly, you guys are about 20 minutes ago talking about the whole, you have your daddy, uncles and stuff come up. Yeah, but a lot of women unfortunately don't have that. Unfortunately, some of them don't have that. And if you know that he's around here slipping people's stuff in their food and they get pneumonia and dying, it might shake you to be like, okay, let me just shut the hell up. Let me sit here, eat my food and be quiet and just don't say nothing. That type of fear, and you're trying to get a little piece of a career, a lot of women don't have that. You just heard the man who was up here half an hour ago. So how those are some of the men that they have in their lives. They don't care about a lot of women or in what we go through. They won't defend us, so unfortunately, it is what it is.
Um, Queenie the Virgo says he probably she's saying that he's probably trying to get moved to a hospital. I think everything that he's attempting to do is a legal tactic that his lawyer is feeding him, saying, listen, this is what we can do. You're going to have to refuse to eat for a few days. Therefore, we can get you in, if there is an infirmary, and we can get you some type of protection there, get you some IVs, and we can plead that there's a medical need to get you home for the proper care, blah, blah, blah. I think this is all strategic. I think it's a part of paranoia as well. And I think they know. And I told y'all on my first video, the clock is ticking.
Queen, what
He ain't
part do
safe
you think?
nowhere. He ain't safe
Queen,
nowhere.
yep.
Huh?
Queen, what part do you think? I mean, I know, of course, his mother plays a huge part, But when the previous speaker was talking, I almost thought about, we were talking about how he was in the beginning and what he's evolved to. And I'm just wondering how much of that was his mother trying to make him what her his dad was or could have evolved to be. You know what I'm saying? Like how much of who he is now was really a part of her kind of guiding, pushing, prodding, setting up, creating, you know what I mean? Because I think she has a big part to play in this whole situation too, like we've all said.
Okay, so if I were to answer that, and I'm gonna have to answer for most women, they're all one and the same to me that have unhealthy bonds with their sons. And
Yes.
they all pretty much have the same behaviors. I wouldn't say it's necessarily that they try to make their sons to be what their fathers were, because half of them had one night stands or some type of raggedy toe up relationship with these men. Half of them have never been in long-term healthy relationships to even know to show a son what their fathers were. I think when you see women like that, they are trying to create or fill an emotional void. And their sons actually become victims to their emotional needs. And that's how the sons learn to prey and manipulate on others because their mothers preyed and manipulated on them. And you got to be careful how you prey and you manipulate on your sons because they end up hating you for it, but they can't tell you that. As a young boy, I don't like you. I don't like that you making me stay home because you ain't got a man and you scared and you trying to play like it's for my safety when you lonely. I don't like the fact that every time you go get your hair done, I got to sit here because you need a man here with you. He can't tell you that. So he ends up hating you. He ends up not liking you because now you've made me your footstool, your emotional fucking crutch, and it's unhealthy. I know it's unhealthy, but I can't say anything because you manipulate me as my mama. So now when the next girl comes, I haven't gotten therapy, and she wants an ounce of affection. It reminds me of that old toxic ass shit that my mama did. Bitch, get off of me. I don't like you like that. I'm going to punch you to that degree. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hate you because you constantly asking for something from me that you never gave me, and it makes me angry. It makes me rage out. You're not even addressing my needs because all I am is a Band-Aid to your needs. And when women are that wounded, they can never see past themselves. And they can never see that their kids resent them. Their sons resent them. And you know how you look at how he treats other women. That's you, boo-boo. That's what you put inside of him. Well, I didn't raise him to be that way. No, wait a minute, girl. Can we talk? Because where he get it? He didn't get that from me. He got it from his father's side. He ain't never met his father. All that's you. All of that came from your house. All of that anger. Hold on. Don't even get me started, but I hold in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. Anybody else want to give it a shot?
And that's
Period.
exactly
Period.
true. Because when he basically let us know that his mama is ripe and ready and she about 80, okay? He made a whole video to show that his
Okay.
mama can bend it over and touch the floor, putting her
He said,
on the block, basically, for whoever's
somebody come get her. Take me out.
some
Take off my head.
no, not take her off her head. He
I'm
was
just
acting
playing.
like she was one of his girls that he was pimping out. I mean,
Oh,
that's what it
yeah.
sounded like to me. It didn't sound
Yeah.
like a son talking about his mama.
Yeah.
I was shocked. But it's
Yeah. That.
real. And exactly what you said, that's what he feel about his mama.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example that hasn't
Wow.
gone that extreme, but it's a variation of it if you're not careful. But he don't have the money to act out. A little scrappy.
Same situation. I've been saying that for years. Yes, I agree.
The hate that he has for Mama D is prevalent in his relationships with women. Don't respect him, don't like him.
And you know
But
what's so sad? Oh, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Queen.
But it hasn't escalated to the point of that level. Thank God. There's something there. And I think it's the fact that his father used to pray over him. And he said that his
Mhm.
father is a man of belief and his father used to cover him in prayer. But go ahead.
I was just about to say, and you're so right because it was a scene. I don't watch that show, but I did see a scene where he was telling her like as a young boy, you know, seeing women coming in and out, woo, 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 and the way he raised her. And he was like, man, you damaged me. Like, I mean, it was powerful. And what was so sad about it is I just don't think that Mama D, it was like she didn't receive and she still won't receive none of that. I think she is so emotionally void of what, of, because then I think that means that she has to face which her choices were. Right? It's one thing to talk about at surface level, but it's another to say, oh man, I really effed my son up. But you're so right about that Diddy and Scrappy and Mama D. I think you even did a video on it at one point and it was really good.
Thank you. Mama D don't hear them, just like a lot of Black women don't hear what they do wrong. That's a whole other different topic, because a lot of us have received a false title of matriarchs when we never grown into being a queen. We just young girls do grown, like they say, grown boys, grown ass girls. But can't nobody hold a Black woman accountable, because I'm the mama. I'm the only mama you got. And she gets to get away with more than Black men do.
And sometimes the mama act like they the woman in that son, the grown son's life, that only deserve respect. So they also treat the women in their lives horribly. And it's a whole, yeah, Queen, you need to do another video about this,
We
because this is
will.
real.
That's
This
a good
is
topic.
serious. It's a good topic.
We
I don't even
will.
want to go
We
there.
will.
It's a lot.
You've never let your child sit down and give you honest feedback without interrupting and or manipulating and or gaslighting and or pulling a mama card. You don't really know how you've done as a parent. You don't know. You don't know. You've never given them the safe opportunity to give you your performance card, your performance evaluation. You just assume. But you did the best you could. And that's no longer good. As we can see how these adults, these young boys and girls are growing up, hurt kids, they grow up to be abused adults that hurt others. And if it's too much for you to sit down and say, how could I have done better? What is it that I didn't give you? Uninterrupted. Without making them feel responsible for your feelings. I did the best I can without defending anything that you've ever done. Outside of I hear you, thank you. I knew that took a lot. I love you so much and I appreciate you for being honest. Then you cry later. That's what a therapist told me. You don't ever put the responsibility of your emotions on your children. Well, this is what happened to me, and this, don't say nothing. Your job is to take care of them, to give them an open and safe place, to get anything out the way so that y'all can move forward in friendship. Because after a particular while, you can't parent them anyway. There's 3 stages. Dr. Ed Young said from 0 to 13, you parent. From 13 to 18, you coach. From 18 until the day they die, you become their friend. A lot of y'all still trying to parent grown ass men. He don't need you as a mama no more. You missed that ship. All you can do is become his friend and let him or her tell you what they needed long ago as a parent. But since I didn't get it, here's what we can pick up and move forward as friends. I'm going to end on that one. Because some of y'all need to go have some conversations with your kids. Some of y'all owe y'all children an apology. Some of y'all have put too much on them and they've never got to say it. And they're carrying that load. And it's showing up in their relationships. It's showing up in their friendships. They done gone from man to man, woman to woman. They don't get along with nobody. It's everybody's fault except theirs. Because they're carrying your load and trying to carry theirs. Don't make excuses for them. Just give them a safe place to get it out so that they can heal and move forward and live a better life than what you're living. Hold on. Welcome to the room. Said, barkeep, let me get a drink. No, I'm for real. We back. We back in the palace. We back.
Bartender, I need a large Coca-Cola with a lot of crushed ice, please. I don't drink. I feel like I need a drink. I feel like I've been through a therapy session.
It's real up in here tonight. This is real life up in here. This is real.
Look, I was stuck in my seat to lean back. Got my lumbar support. And all I need, I
Listen,
feel, is a drink.
because
You better.
young Miami mama came straight out of prison and started twerking it and pussy popping, as opposed to hugging on her daughter.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Queen, you're
Y'all, let
gonna
me
have
go.
people
Good
calling their
night.
kids tonight. You're gonna have people calling, crying, and telling their kids they sorry
Lord.
tonight.
No, they ain't supposed to be crying, Didi, because what did I say? Don't
Oh,
put
that's
your
right.
emotions
Now
on your
don't cry.
kids.
You just gotta listen. That's right. I got you. I got you. Mine is
Lord.
still
I feel like
young, so I'm gonna let her
you
talk to me now.
you were talking, and I thought about Ayala Van Zon, and I said, wait a minute, this feeling like one of those sessions. Wait a minute, let me lean back on my chair. I said, oh, I need a drink. I don't even know why. I ain't triggered or nothing. It just
Okay. But listen, if you look on the screen, what you see? If you look on the screen, a bunch of broken girls.
Fact, fact,
Yes.
fact.
Oh Lord.
Look, thinking they were in a partnership, baby. Y'all wasn't in no partnership. Y'all was in a manipulation.
Okay.
Y'all was, yeah. But man, good Lord. Whew.
Ooh, child. But look, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Thank you all. It's been a hell of a conversation. Tough, disagree. We had a few disagreements. It got started off rough. Jay Prince came in and ruffled some feathers. But y'all, that's what life is about. You got people that think completely different from you
Yeah.
do. And if
Yep.
you are not privy to and keeping your ear to the streets, you don't know what to teach your kids. So you can't be quick to say, get out of here. You better listen and learn so you can
Mhm.
hand down them lessons of what people are thinking and how they view it. You can't just listen. I'd rather teach my kids what the streets are saying so they don't go out there and find out. Listen, so it's a whole bunch of men that feel like because you here, you trying to see
Mhm.
something. And that's you thank you. Lorraine N said this show was good. So you gotta be up to date. You gotta be willing to get uncomfortable if it means
Yep.
setting your kids up for success, setting your niece, your nephew up for success. That's it.
Look, it just kind of sounded like that started hitting a nerve with him, because then he started his language kind of got real loose. You know what I mean? It was like he forgot about at least a little bit of tact. He just got a little loose, so it must have kind of triggered him. But I tell you, baby, I know he tell his little nieces and nephews the real. If he got some young folks around him, they probably sit and listen to him, because he probably had them laughing and thinking at the same time. So. I mean, and you're right. You do have to have somebody like my brothers. They talk totally different from me, so their relationship with my daughters are different, but I know they tell them what's going on. So, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So,
Yeah. And but see, that's how they talk to them girls behind closed doors. When P. Diddy say, and make sure there's a lock on the door, turn on the heat. You think they're not calling them angels. So we need to know how
my
they,
God.
because
Mm.
otherwise you don't know. You can't relate when somebody come in. You're gonna say, no, there's no way that person could have said that to you. Yes, they did. Just like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
You gotta hear
Um,
what those guys are saying. You gotta definitely hear them out and hear what they're saying, so you'll know what you're dealing with in certain people and certain men, especially because some of the things that he was saying, a lot of men think that way. A lot of black
you
men
do.
think that way. A
But
lot of
what
black men think that way. It's unfortunate, but that's how they look at things. It's black and white. They don't look at any of that gray stuff. It's black and white. You there. I think I forgot which lady said it, but your consent was when you walked in the door.
But
Period.
also, we have to, I'm gonna put it back on us as women. We got to start telling these young girls, you going to that party? They're not looking for nice girls. They're not looking for women to
Facts.
Mhm.
marry tonight. So I just want to
Mhm.
let
Facts.
you know, I'm just telling you, that's not the kind of party where they care about how you're raised, that they care that you're in college, that they care
Right.
that you're an honor roll student. And that's
Ooh,
like,
that's true.
listen, oh,
Yes.
And you know what? And there was a video, and one of the vloggers was talking about. But what he stated was too, you got to know when somebody is actually getting joy out of seeing you fall because they ain't where they want to be, or they want a leg up, right? So what, you in school? So what, your mama calling you, blowing up your phone, or you got family that care for you or whatever. They'll separate you from that and make you think that I thought you was grown. I thought you came out here to be
Facts.
somebody. How you coming out here to be a superstar and you still gotta text your mommy every night? You know what I'm saying? So it's boy, I'm telling you.
Like this. Good night,
Woo.
mommy.
Yes.
Right. I see the mama. But
Look,
man,
I want to see this chat. It's Brian Grisham. It's not very often that men come through, but he says, I'm 48 and I need a mom talk. We want to wish you well with that, where you can actually sit your mom down and say what you need to say. So we're
oh,
going to
that's
send
good.
positive vibes to y'all. And I think that's a good place to end. If y'all can say or give Brian any type of advice in the chat, go ahead and put it in the chat. Whether how will be a best way to approach his mother, not necessarily what to say, but maybe creating a nice, comfortable atmosphere. And then for those of you on the panel, any positive affirmations or positive things or that you would like to say to Brian as he gears up at 48 years old for this mom talk?
I would say, Brian, if it doesn't come across well, if she doesn't accept it, it's not you. So go in knowing that you want to accomplish something, but it may not go the way you want it to go, but you're still good and you tried to make sure you did the right thing. So don't take it personally if she doesn't receive it well. That would be my advice.
Discerning goddess.
Yes, ma'am. Brian, I would say, and this is something we hear a lot. Our parents, our moms did the best they could with what they had. However, that's not an excuse in many cases to be neglectful or whatever. I would tell you is, like the sister said before me, she may not respond in the way which you want her to respond, but just go in knowing whatever the outcome is that you are still going to do your work to continue to be the man that you desire to be.
Thank you. Gen X.
Brian, I would say that you go into the conversation with your mom, maybe invite her to coffee, but go into this conversation not with a laundry list of things, but with the thing that really is holding you back or has set you back. And understand that regardless of her response, can this can this be your point of you starting to heal? Because really, whether she wants to admit, change, or shift, you can't control her, but you can let that stuff off of your chest, out of your heart, hoping she'll receive it. And whether she does or not, congratulations on you starting your healing and your new journey.
Thank you, Gen X. Simone. I don't know. There she is.
I am. I would say go into it. Speak your truth. Speak your feelings as respectfully as possible. Depending on the severity of the situation of your feelings, and just let it flow from there. But be respectful as possible. But speak your truth. What you're feeling. How you feel about certain things that have occurred in your I don't know, childhood or just life period. And that's really all I have.
Thank you. All excellent advice from all of you beautiful, wise women on the panel tonight. Brian, I hope that helps. There's a lot of support, a lot of ideas and recommendations in the chat from women, moms, sisters, daughters. And I hope that you're able to take something of value away that'll propel you forward to, I'm going to just say bettering. Oh, Brian said thank you. See, we listen over here. Brian said thank you all. So I hope it helps, Brian, and we're wishing you nothing but the best. And yeah, I think you got it. I think you got it. And I'm glad that you came to the channel tonight. If it's your first time, welcome, and we hope to see you again. All right. Good night, everybody. I know we stayed up a little bit later than what I initially intended for us to, but guess what? We helped somebody tonight. So they're loving on you, Brian. I hope you feel the love. And thank you, everybody, for such a wonderful, thoughtful, thought-provoking conversation. Very powerful, very
Yes.
challenging, very complex. Go ahead, Simone.
No, I was just agreeing. I was like, this was a very great conversation. It had to be had, and I'm glad you took this route to the whole Diddy situation.
Yeah.
Or at least, well,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to have more talks about it, but I appreciate this conversation.
It was great. And thank you to the other panelists. Sugar, we love you. Thank you, Sugar, for coming in. Standing 10 toes deep. Thank you, everybody else that was here. God bless you all, and good night, everybody.